That's the scary thing. 98% of America's retirement wealth is invested in the stock market. But I think you would agree with me. You ask the average American if they understand how the stock market works, and they just shake their head. But why do we do it? But we invest in it, and it's not because we understand the investment, it's because people don't know that they have more options when it comes to their retirement investments.
Welcome to the Nicholas Brown Podcast, a podcast talk show about real estate investing, business leadership, and personal development. Each week, we explore current real-life case studies about how to build financial independence through investing in real estate to build your personal portfolio through passive income models, along with interviews from the top business leaders and personal development leaders. Now, here's your host, Nicholas Brown.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I got another great episode. This part of the season series on here. This is a special episode here for those of you guys who have 401k, retirement income, or just starting out. This here, I promise you, this is going to help you, because this gentleman here, I've been knowing him for over 10 years, and this actually it's 2 years since I last had him on the first episode. So make sure you watch that episode. So if you subscribe and watching this also, make sure you subscribe and go watch the first episode I had before of this gentleman, which now I'm going to give you a little bit deeper because he tied on with even a better group that he can expand. So once again, if you guys are listening in, make sure you look at the description. Make sure you download that so you get alerts for it, because it's going to be an ongoing thing. And if you're part of the newsletter, you'll get a chance to tie in with him, where he'll tailor to your needs and the group's needs. So I'm going to read the about so we can get straight to the source on here, and we'll begin. So let me open this up. We're going to read this here, and we shall get started here. All right, here we go. Here, my little switch here for the about section. It's going a little bit slow here. I'm glad I'm not on TV live. Well, I tell you what, the show must go on. This is Nate Hare. Nate Hare is a CISP. Is that correct?
That's
and
correct.
He deals, and basically it's like custodian for IRAs, but it's different, ladies and gentlemen. Self-directed IRAs, which I have it right here. Nate has an extensive experience in real estate, lending, business development, marketing, and public speaking. He has over 10 years of experience in self-directed IRA industry and holds the designation, as I said before, CISP stands for Certified IRA Services Professional from the American Banking Association. Previous to the career in the self-directed IRAs, Nate worked as a senior mortgage consultant for 7 years with Silver Slate Mortgage, Meridius Capital, the Royal Bank of Canada, known as RBC, where he gained honors with a nomination for the National Mortgage Loan Officer Rookie of the Year in 2004. Nate has also been an active real estate investor since 2002 and has educated thousands of investors on how they can best utilize self-directed retirement accounts to buy, hold, and sell alternative investments in tax-free manner. For more information, reach out to Nate on his LinkedIn, which is under Nate Hare, CISP. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been too long on there, but I'm glad to see you. That's by building the bridge and everything. And congratulations on your new success on there, what you got going. Seems like you keep going up and up and up, man.
I appreciate that. That's the goal, right?
That's right. I'm on your, I'll just say, I'm riding you, man. I'm riding you. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight to it and listen in, because you guys, I got a lot of listeners in from the podcast and all. And if you're watching this also, I'm going to get straight to the source. Here's the question, which I want you guys to focus on, which he's going to give you like a brief information. He's going to give the listeners a brief breakdown on what is a self-directed IRA compared to a normal IRA, and how it can consistently receive more info requests from the 401k, basically on there, how what's the difference. He's going to give you the pros and cons, just the basics. So it's not going to be a long interview, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to give the basics on there and why. So we're just going to dig deep into it. And that's the purpose of you guys downloading and subscribing, so you can get more information and you can tie in with like-minded, where he give you that source. So we're going to get more information on there. So The thing is on you. What you started as a mortgage broker, Nate. What got you into there? Why did draw attention to become to get an IRA in the self-directed IRA field?
So in 2002, just after I graduated college, I always knew that I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't know how to get into real estate, but I knew I wanted to be a real estate investor. I wanted to own rental property. I just thought that that was the best way to create wealth for myself,
Right.
and not have to work a 9 to 5 job for my entire life. And I got into real estate through the mortgage business. That's where I got started in 2002. I started buying and selling my own rental properties and holding them. And it wasn't until 2012 that I found out, by getting recruited by a company that did self-directed IRAs, that I could actually buy and sell real estate inside a retirement account and pay no taxes. Now, this blew my mind in 2012 because I thought, well, first I thought, how much money have I wasted on my real estate investing, doing it all in my name where I'm a taxpayer? What massive opportunity did I lose? And then I started thinking, how come this isn't taught in schools? How come I didn't learn this in college or even high school, that I could actually buy investments that aren't stocks and bonds, but I can actually buy investments that I was knowledgeable about, which at the time was real estate, and it's always been real estate. So in 2012, I made a career switch. I got out of the day-to-day real estate field and mortgage business, and I started working at a self-directed IRA company. And ever since that time, I've been educating investors on how they can use their IRAs, their old 401ks, their old 403bs, and invest into things that they know and understand versus just investing in the stock market. Because that's the scary thing. 98% of America's wealth, retirement wealth, is invested in the stock market. But I think you would agree with me. You ask the average American if they understand how the stock market works, and they just shake their head. But why do we do it?
Right.
But we invest in it, and it's not because we understand the investments, it's because people don't know that they have more options when it comes to their retirement investments.
They go with traditional IRAs because they don't know what they don't know on there. Same with the 401ks on there. When they're at their job, they're expecting something in the next 10, 15, or 20 years when they retire. It's not there, but they didn't know they could have had an option to multiply their wealth. Am I correct? Hey, listeners, interested in retirement planning? Whether you've got a 401k, no savings at all, or you're somewhere in between, we've got you covered. Subscribe to our retirement planning newsletter for expert tips and insights. Secure your future today. Click the link in the show notes.
Exactly. I mean, it really just comes down to investing in what you know and understand best. And most people, even the average American, who, you don't have to be a real estate investor, they know what a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house looks like. They know how to find a renter and put the renter in there and make sure they pay rent on the first of the month. Everybody understands that concept. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to get it. And then when you look at all the numbers, 95% of America's millionaires are made through real estate.
That's right.
So why would you not want to invest your retirement in real estate, knowing that that's where most of America's millionaires come from? The problem is, when we have our IRAs and our 401ks managed by, stockbrokers and wealth advisors, they get paid off of our investments in Wall Street. They'll never tell you can invest in other things. So that's why, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And your wealth advisors and your guys at Charles Schwab and Fidelity are never going to tell you can do this, because they don't make money when you buy real estate in your IRA. They make money when you buy stocks.
Right. And that's what I always said, control the controllables, ladies and gentlemen. You can't control that. That's your money. That's your savings in there. You have the option to control it. Now, you may have some type of penalties, but that's where you build your teams and you have some type of extra strategy. And just take the temporary pain, because you're going to be hurting if you don't see this in 8 to 10 years. Oh, I could have did better, So that's the purpose of building
I'll say
team.
this. Yeah, and I'll say this, Nicholas. A lot of people actually think that you get penalized for buying real estate in an IRA, when that's actually a misconception.
No, I'm talking about the 401k, when they take out the 401k to get with someone. I'm just giving examples though, but go ahead.
Right.
Carry on. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, even with that, a lot of people, and this is important that you brought that up, because this is another misconception. And a lot of wealth advisors or even CPAs will tell you this. If you say, "Hey, I heard this guy Nate talking on Nicholas's podcast, and he said I can use my 401k to buy real estate," they'll say, "No, hold on, put on the brakes. You're going to pay a bunch of taxes and penalties if you take money out of your 401k."
Right.
But what they envision you doing is taking a distribution out of your 401k to yourself and going and buying real estate with that money. That would create taxes and penalties, but that's not what we do at Directed IRA.
Okay.
Directed IRA, we move that 401k or old 401k at that old job, and we roll it directly into another retirement account called an IRA. There's
Okay.
no taxes or penalties associated with moving it from one retirement plan to another because it's not a distribution to the account owner.
It's a rollover.
It's considered a rollover. Yep.
Right.
And you're not taxed on any of it, provided you move the entire balance from, say, your old job to your new self-directed IRA setup, say it Directed IRA. And then once we have that self-directed IRA open and funded, and our clients choose a real estate investment or a rental property they want to buy, we just buy that in the retirement account by exchanging their asset of cash for an asset of real estate. The exact same way Fidelity exchanges assets of cash for assets of stock. So if you understand how to work within the rules of the IRAs and 401ks, you're never taxed and penalized until you actually take distributions, which can be all the way in retirement age.
Okay.
But buying and selling real estate in a retirement account is a great way to build wealth because when you're not taking money out of the account, you can buy and sell real estate and pay no capital gains tax and grow your money much, much faster.
This is Larry Pellington, CPA for PC Financial Services. Thank you, Nick Brown, for inviting me to the Nicholas Brown podcast. Check it out. Check out our episode, and looking forward to hearing back from you.
Okay. Here's another myth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just giving my what I get, Nate. It may seem like, yeah, I got it, but most people don't. I want these guys. A dumb question is one not asked, not presented on there. They're thinking if they just leave that money in the account compared to a regular IRA, it's just going to grow. No, it's not going to grow. That's why I want Nate to explain what he's a custodian, which he has the source. Just explain that. But I jumped the gun earlier. I didn't get you a chance to get
it's okay.
But I want to make it easier for them to know you and present this to them where, oh, I get it. That way in time, we can go to the next level where they'll get more familiar with you. So if you can explain what an IRA is compared to a self-directed IRA, what's the benefits of that? Because people don't understand that with the 401ks, they just think even if they convert it, I'll let you go on.
Okay. So an IRA is just an individual retirement account. You can have an IRA at Fidelity, and you can have an IRA Directed IRA. Technically, legally, those IRAs are no different. The rules for IRAs are all dictated the same, and they've been the same ever since IRAs were created in the 70s. You can invest in anything in an IRA, and your IRA can own anything except life insurance contracts and collectibles. That's it. There's only two investment restrictions laid out by the IRS: life insurance contracts and collectibles. So when you want to invest in something like real estate, it's allowable by law. You just have to find a custodian that will process that purchase of real estate inside the retirement plan. So we call it a self-directed IRA when you have an IRA with us, but it's really just an IRA. And you have to work through your IRA custodian no matter what you buy in your IRA. If you're buying stocks, you work through Fidelity. If you're buying real estate, you work through us. But the IRAs actually themselves are the same. They're no different. And you can have as many IRAs as you want. So most of our clients—
Another myth.
Yeah,
That's
so
another myth.
You can have as many IRAs as you want. You're not limited. You can have 10. I have a client that has 42 IRAs.
Wow.
Because he has them because he has them at different places that hold different assets. So you can have an IRA at Fidelity or Charles Schwab that holds your stocks or your mutual funds, but you should also have an IRA with a company like Directed that holds your alternative assets. And real estate's an alternative asset. There's a whole list of alternative assets that our clients invest in. Some of our clients don't buy real estate directly, but they might invest into, say, an LLC that owns an apartment building, or an entity that owns a commercial property, or hotels, or private stock, or a startup company. These are all alternative assets that you can invest in with a retirement account. You just have to find a custodian that will hold those assets for you. And that's what we do at Directed IRA. So the IRA is not different. It's just the assets that will allow you to hold are different.
Special announcement. Interested in retirement planning? Got a 401k? Or no savings at all? We've got you covered. Subscribe for expert tips and insights. Secure your future today. Click the link in the show notes. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So that's just the whole. So if someone was starting out, what would you? This is a tip moment, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm new here. I got 401k. I had my 401k over 5 years. I keep hearing, I seeing these commercials about real estate, IRA, and all that converting. How would you? How do I start out getting with someone such as yourself? How would you start me out if I would
The
have
first thing,
401k or retirement income that I want to make better on?
the first thing I would say to anybody who's just learning about this is it does take a little time to learn the concepts because again, this is not something that they've taught us at a young age. I had
Right.
to learn it late in my 30s just by chance because I was recruited by a self-directed IRA company. Thank God I was, because had I not been, I don't even know that I would ever have heard of a self-directed IRA. So the
Exactly.
first thing to do is to just educate yourself. Anybody listening to this, I do workshops 2 or 3 times a month. They're free. They're open to anybody. Just go to our website, click on the Learn tab, find where their workshops, and then just register for the next one. There's also recorded ones you can watch and find out if self-directing is right for you. The avatar of the person that self-directed IRAs fits best with is somebody that's more entrepreneurial, that actually has an investment idea. They have a skill set. Maybe it's real estate investing, maybe it's something else, maybe it's self-storage, but they have a skill set outside of, understanding stocks or bonds. If you have a skill set, apply that skill set to your retirement assets. And that's where self-directed comes in. But if you're somebody that just wants somebody to invest their money for them, self-direct is not right for you because you have to find your own
Sure.
investments when you have a self-directed IRA. It's a more entrepreneurial type of an IRA. But if you really want to take control of how fast and how your retirement grows, that's the best way to do it. It's actually interesting to know, and most people don't even realize this, as you look at numbers, and these are statistics that have been, these are available to anybody, but as you look at IRAs, the higher the value of the IRA is, the more alternative assets are in that account. This has been proven. And these are the numbers that they don't share with us that just blow my mind, and I want people to know.
Is
Out
that
of
because
all
they're private? Is that because they're private, or is it hard information?
It is a little bit because they're private, because before, I would say, now with technology and in the internet and social media, now people have access to information they didn't have access to before, because the rich and the wealthy have been using self-directed IRAs for decades, but it was more the insiders club. You had to know somebody with the private investment in order to get your IRA involved in it. And a lot of, us working folks, we didn't have access to that information. Now we have access to that information. And that's why you saw in 2022 the largest increase of alternative asset investing in retirement accounts that we've ever seen in the history of retirement accounts. So more people are gravitating toward this because now they have more options that they didn't know about otherwise. But this is not new. I mean, if you look up Peter Thiel is one of the co-founders of PayPal. This is the famous story of
Yeah.
self-direction, where he invested his $2,000 Roth IRA into a small startup company back in the day called PayPal. And
Wow.
that and you had to do that as a self-directed IRA because PayPal wasn't publicly traded at the time. So he used a self-directed IRA to invest in PayPal. And that $2,000 investment turned into $5 billion.
Wow.
But he did it smartly in a Roth IRA because he pays no taxes on any of that income. And that's why it was big news, not because of it was $5 billion. It was $5 billion tax free. And I'll tell
Right.
you what, the IRS hates to hear that. But guess what? They made the rules. He just followed the rules. And that's where most people are. That's where I see the most magic happen, is if you can take your IRA, invest in things that you're knowledgeable about, you can make better returns for yourself in the long run. You're not just limited to just stocks and bonds and Wall Street assets.
What's going on, family? Johnny Lottom here, the military CEO, and you're rocking with the best with the Nicholas Brown Show. Let's go.
Okay. One question that ties in with your company. Your company is Direct IRA. What's the name of your company?
Directed IRA.
Directed IRA. I apologize. So in time, because you're so experienced, you always used to advise the different types of IRAs like HSA and everything. Y'all still provide those type of services, or do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could you tell them about that
types
then?
yeah.
Could you explain that to them?
Yeah, that's a great question, because a lot of people don't realize there's so many accounts that can be self-directed.
Right.
And they all have different tax benefits too. So
Yes,
when I teach my
exactly.
classes, I always tell people, pay attention to the account types, because I've never met a person on this planet that just needs one IRA. So we have different types of categories of plans. We have personal plans that can be self-directed. That's your traditional IRA and your Roth.
Right.
If you're self-employed, you can self-direct SEP IRAs, simple IRAs. We even have what's called a solo 401k. This is if you are self-employed, no common law employees, which means no W-2 employees, basically. If you just work for yourself, you're a CPA, you're a real estate agent, you're a mortgage professional, you've got some self-employment income, you can also self-direct any of those three accounts, SEP, simple, or 401k. And then we have two accounts that you can self-direct that aren't retirement accounts, but they have tax-free benefits to them. Health savings accounts, which a lot of people have health savings accounts from either their employer set them up with it or they just set one up on their own. It's shocking to know how many people don't know you can invest a health savings account. Most people just use it as a savings account. They put money in, they get a tax deduction, and then they just leave the money in there. Well, why leave it in there? If you grow it, it grows tax-free, but you take distributions out at any time to pay for qualified out-of-pocket health expenses, which are glasses, prescriptions, acupuncture, holistic medicine, dental work, dentist visits. I paid for a root canal tax-free out of my HSA profits, and those can also be self-directed. We have one more account that's our education savings account, which is a savings account for your kids or your grandkids that you put money in. You don't get a tax deduction, but you put money in. As you invest it, you can take the profits out tax-free to pay for qualified education expenses, which include tuition, room and board, books, computers, iPads, even your home internet bill can be paid with tax-free dollars out of your profit in a Coverdell education savings account for your kid, all expenses from kindergarten through college. So not only can you self-direct and have tax-free wealth to build for retirement, but you can self-direct and have tax-free wealth that you can use today to pay for education expenses and health expenses, which everybody has, especially if you have especially if you have a family.
Special announcement. Interested in retirement planning? Got a 401k? Or no savings at all? We've got you covered. Subscribe for expert tips and insights. Secure your future today. Click the link below. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a treat. Hopefully he can. If not, that's the purpose of you guys. If he's not allowed to do that, I want you guys to tie in the newsletter where he'll expand on that. But I just wanted to give you a bonus. I always say, you want to be on the B and I side. You want to build your teams where, yes, he's the authority of the self-directed IRA teams, but he has other sources. He has in-house, the attorneys and all. Are you allowed to tell what you guys provide? What makes your company so different? Because you're in a better, congratulations, man. You're in something where people ask the same question for the attorneys and CPAs and all that. Could you explain that to them? Are you allowed to explain that about your company?
Yeah, I can explain that.
Thanks.
Yep, I can explain that. And for full disclaimer, I don't work for the other entities, but we have some, I guess you could call them sister companies. I work for Directed IRA. We handle all of the clients that need self-directed IRA services, but we also have a sister company called KKOS Lawyers, which is just 3 floors up from us. They handle entity setups, asset protection. If you need, the solo 401k, they'll help you set that up. We do set up clients with what's called a checkbook IRA owned LLC. This is a little bit more advanced structure for people that have larger, I guess, old 401ks or IRAs, and they're very active with it, buying lots of rental property. That's again just an advanced structure that we can set up. But we have attorneys on staff at KKOS that have years and decades of experience of setting that up. We got about 40 or 50 attorneys.
Wow.
And all of it's really managed by, two guys that are well known in the industry. Matt Sorensen, which is our CEO. He's the author of the best-selling book, The Self-Directed IRA Handbook. And Mark J. Kohler, who's a nationally renowned tax attorney and advisor who they do a ton of education online. So when you come through either Directed IRA or KKOS Lawyers, no matter which door you come in, you're surrounded by people that have decades of experience in basically how you can protect your assets and grow your assets in a completely tax-free manner. Okay. So that's a benefit that we have as a company that most self-directed IRA companies don't.
Okay, last question. I'm about to wrap it up because I want to talk on the real estate investing side. If I was an investor and I had 300,000 that I converted to a self-directed IRA, and I had a property I want to purchase, what's the steps on that so I don't get checkbook writing access? How's that work so I get the listeners to know what's going on, or if they want to be a private, people want to be private investor, private notes investor, but I just want to get a real estate question on that.
Yep. So the first two steps are really easy. The first
Okay.
step to get started is just open an account. Open
Okay.
a self-directed IRA, give us a call, book a call. The calls, our consultations are free. Tell us
Okay.
what type of IRAs that you need to set up. Once we get those set up, and you can even do it online if you want, it takes 5 minutes to set up an IRA. The second step is we have to fund that IRA by either you making a contribution to it, which is just making your annual contribution, or transferring money from an existing IRA. You don't have to transfer the entire IRA, but let's say you've got a $300,000 IRA at Fidelity, but you only need $100,000 to buy a fix and flip. Well, then just transfer $100,000. Leave the other 200 in the stock market and move
Okay.
over $100,000. That's important to know because it's
Okay.
not an all or nothing thing. It's just move over what you need.
Okay.
Is what I always tell people.
What you
And then
control. So you're not allowed,
yeah,
you don't
exactly.
have to take the whole amount.
Nope.
Don't have,
Nope.
okay,
You can just
gotcha.
move. Yeah, just move what you need. And then with the 401ks, provided it's an old employer 401k, you're not working with the company, those are easy because those can be rolled into an IRA. The hard ones are if you're still working at the company that set you up with the 401k, you'll have to ask the company if you can move money out. Sometimes they'll let you move money out while you're still employed if you've worked there for a long period of time. I won't get into the details of it, but if it's an old one, you don't work with the company, easy. We can just roll that into a self-directed IRA. Now, once you have the accounts open and funded, you have to tell us or find what real estate asset you want to buy. And the difference is when you negotiate the terms and say you're buying a rental property, it's never your name on the contract. It's never Nicholas's name on the contract. It would be directed IRA for the benefit of Nicholas's IRA. That's the actual entity and that's the buyer. And since we're the custodian, we sign as the buyer, but we don't negotiate the terms or find the property. Our client finds the property.
Gotcha.
We go through the closing, and technically the IRA will own the property. We'll hold the warranty deed as evidence to show that the IRA owns the property. And from that point on, all the rental income will come to us, deposited into your IRA's profit. All the expenses will be paid out of the IRA. You just work through us on that. So you're almost like the quarterback of everything that's going on, but money never touches your hand. Money goes in and out of your IRA through us. You just tell us where and when things need to happen. And if you wanted to go to that extra level of protection and I guess ease of use, we can set you up with an LLC that you manage and just have the IRA own the LLC. Now, that's a way that you can go out and you'll have checkbook control at that point. You'll have access to the funds, but you still have to use the funds to buy retirement account investments. But you just run everything through the LLC. It doesn't matter which way you do it. It's really an option. I always say if you're just starting out, you don't need to start with the LLC. Just start with us processing it, get used to that. And as you build more assets and you want more flexibility, then you can graduate to that checkbook IRA LLC.
Special announcement. Interested in retirement planning? Got a 401k? Or no savings at all? We've got you covered. Subscribe to our newsletter for expert tips and insights. Secure your future today. Click the link below. Right on time. Let me ask you this. I'm about to wrap it up because my timer went out. I appreciate you coming for your time. You have workshops coming. I want you to, if you can, explain your workshops and how can they get in contact. What type of workshop you have going on?
So we do a lot of different workshops. I'll just give you an idea of my next workshop, which is September 5th. And I'm not sure when people will see this, but you can always watch the recording. The topic is big profit real estate strategies with small IRAs. So I'm going to talk about all the real estate strategies you can use to use even a small IRA. Just to give you an example, I have a client that took a $6,000 Roth IRA, bought 3 warehouse units using seller financing, sold one of the units and retains 2 warehouse units that he only spent $6,000 to take down. And those warehouses are now worth $200,000 in the cash flow monthly with a $6,000 investment. I have another client that rolled over an old 401k, a $70,000 401k. He bought 5 properties using subject to strategy. This is just a strategy where you take over the payments of somebody else who's in a distressed situation. Well, he bought 5 properties using only $70,000, Renters have been paying the mortgages down on all 5 of those properties for the last, say, 10 years.
Wow.
10 more years from now, those 3 properties will be paid off, and each property will be worth north of $600,000.
Wow.
So you do the math, $70,000 investment, $600,000 properties times 5, that's $3 million that he turned. And who made that happen? The renters of the rental properties.
Right.
He just found a way to get them owned in his Roth IRA so that he doesn't have to pay any taxes on all that profit.
Nice.
And that's how the rich get wealthy.
That's right. Right. Okay. So how can they get in contact with you?
If you go to our website, directedira.com, go to book a call. You'll see my name down there at the bottom, and you can book a call with me. We could talk strategy, or we could talk about how the process works.
All right. I definitely would do that. And you will be in my list in a newsletter, ladies and gentlemen. You can always contact Nate also. So Nate, hey, any last words, man? I appreciate your time, man. I'm so excited to have you back, man, and look forward to more meetups, man. Yeah,
I would just say, just get educated. Education doesn't cost anything when we're talking about self-directed IRAs, and don't rely on school to teach it to you. This is one of those things you got to just go out and learn on your own. I had to do it, but we do a real good job at Directed IRA at educating our clients and non-clients. So just go to our website, go to the Learn page. We've got a ton of education there, and register for one of my workshops. I think you'll find it helpful for anybody listening.
Sounds good. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on the Nicholas Brown Podcast. Make sure to visit our website,
www.nicholasbrownrei.com,
where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too.
If you like this show and you're interested in retirement planning tips, then check out our free newsletter located on our website, www.nicholasbrownrei.com/newsletter.
Be sure to tune in for our next episode. And remember, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.